So my blog is shortlisted for the Orwell Prize. I only really entered it because Hopi Sen was judging, and I wanted Labour to understand that there was consensus on these systems and the significance of what they were doing, and that this was harming people. Also, I know Toby Younghair, he got longlisted but not shortlisted, but I got shortlisted, which made me feel really good. I was actually going to pull out when I got longlisted because I didn't want the attention, but then when I realised that Toby was shortlisted and that I was much better than he was and I would boot him out of that competition, I stayed in because I knew there was shortlist me. I didn't want to win, but I never would have anyway, really. June the 15th, 2012, I write the Head It Off post, which is underneath, which has the original conversation with Caroline, which has the video with Kevin, and this is actually pretty effective, and every time they pop up I just do that. I say, I'm not interested in this person, this is who you're acting for. But she doesn't stop, and the impact on my life doesn't stop. There are tweets showing that she contacted editors, places where I was speaking. I couldn't say I had a job interview online because the place that I was going to work would be contacted, or the interview would be cancelled because either Kevin or Caroline would contact them. They would do this constantly. They relentlessly tried to completely prevent me ever being able to earn a living. Caroline would contact editors. When she showed up as Georgia O'Keeffe on the comments to the video saying I was coming back to YouTube, and really that's how you should have a look. She mentioned The Economist. I didn't know she'd done anything with The Economist. She does this when she trolls and sock puppets. She tells you what she's been doing. But she had gone to extraordinary efforts to make sure that I couldn't be published, that I couldn't work. I could not say anything online that I value, and I never have done. June the 7th, 2012, I received utterly batshit report investigating me at the behest of Caroline, which is staggering just for the number of people involved in it and the sheer insanity of it. July the 31st. Here is an example, emails from Anna Hedge. Anna is someone I had a minor fallout with because Anna didn't know that welfare was always subject to consensus, because academic literature says it's not, because the academic literature is all bunk on welfare and has been for quite a long time. We had a minor fallout over this. Caroline slowly ingratiated herself and defamed me, told Anna that I was blackmailing Kevin, you know, really. She was mortified when she found out, but then she was still snotty with me a month later, and it was like, actually, you just bolstered this for me, and now you want me to treat you like what? Not one person involved in this saw me as a person, or the fact that I had a child. Not one. Because they're all so busy with their Twitter shit. So even though I had no contact with this person, this is still impacting my life all the time. I got emailed from one of her batshit friends, a guy called Paul Priest. I'm sorry, I know you want this all to go away. I agreed to speak to a woman who has acted as a third party with Caroline reluctantly. This just goes on and on and on. Caroline continues to build this theatre with me in it. And, you know, this is like, I mean, I'm talking 2012. The fact that I'm still having to discuss this in 2018 is disturbing. Where are we? On the 1st of November 2013, I realised that the police are not going to help. And I have to deal with this. And my little girl was having a problem with a bully at the time, who I won't name, obviously, because she's a child. And we see Kevin in the street, because he used to do things like walking up behind us and smirking at us, and just to let me know that he could. And I was really scared of him, and I was like, right, this is how you deal with a bully, sweetheart. And I had her in my hand, and I walked up to him, and I said, I'm not scared of you. I said, Rachel, I want you to look at this man. I am not scared of him. Not remotely. And then we walked off. And that was that. And then we went to a business to buy lactose-free chocolate because she had a temporary lactose intolerance, which was like the worst episode of Ready to Cook ever. And I received an email accusing me of harassment and of abusing the staff in this shop, which is insane. I say, I'm not scared of you, Kevin. I'm really not. You're a narcissist. Go and tell the police. Go and file your papers. I do not give a fuck. Kevin actually does. He says he's been to the police several times to complain about my harassment. The police actually come to my fucking house and warn me. this is what Dr. Adrian Harrop was discussing, because Kevin contacted Adrian Harrop, I'm fairly sure, because it was either Kevin or Caroline. Now, October the 7th, 2014, email from Kevin, hope he wins. This is a reference to a court hearing I am attending this day. In actual fact, the court hearing was not to do with me. It was another woman. But Kevin thought it was the custody dispute that I'd been in. So they know what's going on, vaguely. Even though I'm not sharing as much on Twitter as people think I do, they're still using this. 9th of December 2013, email exchange between Self and Damian Thompson. I'd written for the Telegraph, and to be fair, I don't think they only wanted me to use me because they thought it'd piss off Owen Jones. And then they moaned at me because I would somehow get involved in... No, I don't. Apparently I was not to get involved in any rows with Caroline Farrow. I have never done so. And the fact that I've never behaved the way that Toby and Caroline behaved, the fact that I've never done this, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. My behaviour doesn't fucking matter. November the 10th, Owen Jones validates Kevin McDougall cites Toby Young as evidence of me being abusive. He is told by many people that Kevin's really dangerous and this is really serious, and he just carries on. So I have to upload the video of Kevin, which I used as insurance against him for years, which you can have a look at. You'll note that Kevin turns up and cites Toby Young, and some of his victims turn up. February the 12th, 2015, I receive a WhatsApp message from Caroline Farrow. I don't listen to it. So it kind of it's not that it tails off, it's that I ignore it. And I can remove myself from it with the video, the blog post. I'm able to manage the online stuff. I don't share anything about offline stuff. I'm not scared of Kevin offline anymore. That's dealt with, even though the police won't help me. And largely, that was enough to kind of take the sting out of it for a bit. So here we have the first interaction with Karen Ingala Smith. Now, I do not associate with this culture because they're dangerous, because of what Helen and Mehdi did with Caroline. Karen Ingala Smith is Helen Lewis's friend, by the way. She knows this. So it was the 5th budget in succession where mothers have been impacted. Again, it went to silence. And then all of a sudden, Yvette Cooper said, actually, mothers are being hit here. And it was the first person that had mentioned us. And Karen Ingala Smith asked her not to. So I asked her if she would consider that domestic abuse welfare cuts were linked, and was then abused by her followers for days for this. So for asking her to consider the links that were discussed at the House of Lords meeting, I was abused by her followers for 2 years. For 2 days. Sorry, 2 years. When Karen Ingala Smith filed her harassment warning, she backdated it 3 years so that it would cover those tweets that she's ashamed of, where I was abused by her followers. Because she's a narcissist. I'm lucky that I expect that kind of narcissism with that culture, and I write a blog post every time I deal with one of these people for my own safety. Now, cut forward to January, February 2018. The abuse from Labour is still going on. I am placed on an internal list of women to be monitored and targeted by trans rights activists this time. This is a Labour Party document. I am desperate at this point. I contact John McTurnan and I say, I can't cope with this. I contact Tom Watson's office. I say, I can't cope with this. I am begging you to make it stop. I am not a valid political target. I am a mum. I am on a... This basically brings us to self-ID. I'd had to withdraw my complaint to the Labour Party after the activist that torpedoed my Twitter account shared confidential documents. I realised it wasn't safe. I was under constant abuse online. Like, my emails were being attacked all the time. Like, the number of Google critical security alerts that would just land in my inbox day in, day out as people were trying to access my Facebook, my Twitter, my emails, the abuse online, the targeting I was appearing on Facebook groups. I'd been made a national target by the opposition in the country that I live in for nothing more than being trained to be the site of political responsibility for these systems under a Labour government. I referenced Karen in a video about reflection on identity. As an aside, after showing her solidarity, inviting her to speak at Correcting a Blind Spot to show I had no hard feelings, and actually the reflection on identity, I just assumed she already knew it because it's knowledge from her sector. But I keep forgetting that Karen doesn't have the knowledge she claims to have. So she flipped out when I mentioned her in a video about reflection. How would you know what I know? I ended contact with Karen Ingala Smith then. I noted why I had done it. It was a narcissistic reflex, and I noted in our email communication I had done so. And I stuck to it religiously, and it's a fucking good job I did.